loves, and welcome back to I'm on Your Side with me, your host, Sierra Boudreau. I'm so excited to get into this episode, as I am with every episode, but I was looking and I realized yesterday was our 15th episode, which feels kind of crazy. It feels like I just started this podcast, and now we're 15 episodes in, and we keep trucking along, and we're almost at 20,000 downloads, which is just like making my heart soar. I can't believe it. When I started this podcast, I was like, okay, maybe like a couple people will listen, and a lot of you guys are listening and tuning in week and week out, and it just is making me feel so excited and so thankful and so honored to get to be doing this with you guys. So yeah, almost 20,000 downloads, 15 episodes in. This is number 16. And let's just jump right into any updates I might have. I, just like last week, don't have a lot. New York is coming up. So by the time you guys listen to this episode on Sunday, I'll already be back. So next week we'll do a New York recap, and I'm excited about that. Second update is if you're watching the podcast on Spotify and also coming soon to YouTube, I'm so excited to get that uploaded to YouTube. It's just been kind of a lengthy process. The art behind me, if you guys are watching, you'll see it. The art behind me is going away, and I just ordered new art today. It's just one print, and I'm so excited for you guys to see it because I think that it perfectly sums up the theme of this room, the theme of this podcast, just like rest and relaxation and just drama, pure drama. So that is going to be up. Well, it's not even going to get here until the middle of May, so don't get too excited too fast, but it's going to be here pretty soon. Hopefully it comes early. Anytime I've ordered from Etsy, all of my art has come early, and so I have Etsy art in the living room, I have it in here, and then I have one print in the bathroom. I like ordering art from Etsy, one, because I get to support smaller businesses, and two, it just usually pretty reasonably priced, and so people always ask me where these Matisse prints are from, and they are from Etsy. I do think that I'm going to move them to right behind my desk. You guys obviously have not seen that part of the office, but I think I'm going to move them there, or maybe I'll just put them in storage because I'm not ready to get rid of them. I just am ready for like a refresh in this room. We signed our lease for another year, so we're going to be here. And so I just think it's time for a refresh. I think that these have really served their purpose, and it's time for just something new. So really excited for that new art to come in. And I think that that is my update. I went to the mall yesterday and blacked out, you guys, completely blacked out. Aloe was having a 30% off sale, and I love Aloe, so naturally I went in there and just had a field day. But I was trying to get some stuff for Alex because he has these pair of Aloe shorts that I got him a while ago that he really loves, and I was trying to pick those up in different colors, but they literally only had the same color that I bought him well over a year ago. So that was a little disappointing. And the other men's stuff they had, I just wasn't really vibing with. So I just got some stuff for myself. And the Victoria's Secret throwback. I know we don't talk a lot about Victoria's Secret anymore, but Victoria's Secret was having a buy two, get two free off of literally everything in the store. So I got 4 new bras for the price of 2. I got some lingerie, of course, had to, because they partnered with For Love and Lemons, and they released the cutest lingerie and the cutest pajamas. So I got a pajama set, I got some lingerie, and I kind of want to go back because I do have to return some stuff from Aloe. I got these leggings that I don't really like, so I have to return some stuff to Aloe, and I'm hoping that I can catch that sale while it's still happening, because there is this shirt that I kind of went back and forth on getting. It was like this lingerie top. It really is lingerie, but the nipples are covered, or they're not covered, but like there's fabric so you can't see through the nipple part. So I kind of want to get it for a going out shirt because I think that's so cute. I am in on wearing lingerie out to the bars. I think it's fun. I think it's hot. As long as it's not like your nipples are out, which if you want your nipples out at the bar, okay, more power to you, girlfriend. But I personally don't want my nipples out at the bar. So I'm thinking about going back and getting that. And then if I get that, I can get a couple of other things. They had some more pajama sets that I was eyeing and I didn't pick up. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, if you get 2 things, you get 2 free. So you might as well get 2 things. It doesn't really make sense to leave money on the table. At least that's what I'm convincing myself of. But I made a TikTok and a reel yesterday where I was saying, like, I have no affinity for spending money. I don't like spending money. However, I do like having things, and spending money is a means to that end. And so if I have to tap my card every once in a while, okay. If I have to swipe my card every once in a while, and if they make it easy with Apple Pay, then sure, I'm going to do it. If that's what I have to do to get the things that I want, then that's what I'm going to do. And I have the firm belief that the money I spend is going to come back to me. So really, I'm just making money. At least that's how I am convincing myself that this is fine. That said, always a reminder, you don't need to buy new things. You don't need new things just because an influencer posts it or talks about it or links it. Doesn't mean you have to have it. It is always more than okay to want the things that you want. It is always okay to want nice things. And it is okay to get those things, but get them because you want them. Get them because you have the budget for them. Get them because you think that they will be an actual worthy investment into your life. Don't get them just because you see it and then you have a closet full of things that you don't even need, don't even really like, but you saw it look cute on someone else and then you thought it would look cute on you, because we all know returning stuff is the bane of all of our existence. I hate returning things. I really, truly do hate returning things. If I can't return it to the closest drop-off location right next to me, then I really don't want it, which is why Nuuly works out for me, because the place that I get to drop off my Nuuly every month is walking distance from my apartment. So it's so close to me, and returning my Nuuly is no hassle. If I had to get in the car and drive to drop off my Nuuly every time and it was like more than 5 minutes away, I probably wouldn't do Nuuly. So all of that to say, I blacked out at the mall and I need to go back and return some stuff that I just don't really need, don't really like the fit of it on me. Because you know how you start like trying things on and then you just get try on fatigue and it's like, okay, I'll try the rest of this on at home and I'll just return it if I need to return it. That's what happened to me yesterday. I got try on fatigue. So that's what's going on at the mall. I'm not sure if either of those sales are still to be going on when this episode goes live, but if they are, check them out. I'm going to try to link as much as I possibly can over on my LTK so that you guys can pick up the things that you want, the things that you think you would like. And I think that is my long-winded update finale. But I was talking with one of my friends, we were out the other day, and we just like said the term silly spring. And I was like, oh my God, I think I want to do an episode about silly spring and dive all into what I'm looking forward to this spring, what I'm doing to make this spring count, what I'm doing to shake off the winter blues, going into summer. So we're going to talk all about it, my little tips and tricks about how to make this spring an incredible spring that's going to lead us into the best summer of our lives, or at least I'm hoping it's the best summer of our lives. I'm just looking forward to this summer. I think after like a really fucking long winter, I feel like it's been winter forever. It literally snowed a couple days ago and it is mid-April, the end of April, like it is late April and it snowed a couple of days ago. So it's obviously not mid-April. I said that and I was like, it's May in a couple of days, but it snowed the other day. And so winter has just felt long and dreadful. And I mean, honestly, the winter here hasn't been too bad, but my God, am I ready to just be hot? Like I'm ready to get in the car and be like, oh my God, I'm hot. Because every time I feel like I get in the car, I'm just like a little bit chilly or I'm not warm enough. And I'm just ready to wear little short shorts and little tank tops and my cute little bikinis and flounce around town. That's what I'm ready for. So this episode is all about silly spring and let's get right into it. Okay, so first up, we obviously have to talk about shaking the winter blues. Like I was just telling you guys, more so complaining to you guys about the fact that I felt like winter was so long and I just got so settled into it. And I am finally coming out of my winter shell and I am ready to go full on into the warmth, full on into spring, full on into summer. Oh my God, I'm ready for summer. Shaking the winter blues can feel kind of hard because for some of us, we're having 5-6 month long winters. Like winters last forever. For some of us have very short winters, or some of us don't have winters at all. Looking at you, California, really also looking at you, Texas, because winter in Texas is like a slight chill in the air in the morning. And then by the afternoon, it's 50 degrees and above. But shaking the winter blues can feel kind of hard, like I was saying, because you have to kind of adapt your routine to make winter more comfortable and to make it more bearable. And obviously what you're doing in the winter is going to look different than what you're doing in the spring and what you're doing in the summer. Just the way that you have to adapt, the way that you have to adjust, the way that you have to make yourself comfortable. I know a lot of us kind of quote hibernate in the winter. A lot of us stay inside because first of all, who wants to drive in the snow? I hate driving in the snow. And maybe that's because I grew up not driving in the snow. Obviously in Texas, it does not snow. So I just am not really used to it. So I don't feel super comfortable driving in the snow. I feel a little bit better now that I've upgraded my car to an all-wheel drive car. But back when I had two-wheel drive, driving in the snow just was terrifying every single time I got behind the wheel. So some of us don't really drive in the winter. Some of us don't go out in the winter. I know a lot of us don't go out in the winter because it's just so fucking cold. And how are you supposed to dress for the bar? How are you supposed to dress for the club when it is snowing and 10 degrees outside? You know what I mean? So like some of us don't go out. Some of us don't see our friends as often because schedules don't really align. People are spending more time alone. People are spending more time in the house. And so all of this adds up to be the winter blues, where you feel a little bit lonely. You feel unlike yourself. You feel like you don't look like yourself. You feel like you are just kind of in a funk, and getting out of it can be really, really challenging because it is just a long extended season. So my tips for breaking out of the winter blues. Number one, first thing that I love to do when I'm kind of seeing the end of winter into spring is pick a new workout that I think that I would enjoy doing. I obviously am a spin girl. I go to spin multiple times a week. That is my number one workout that I do most often. That said, at the end of winter, I kind of started leaning into Pilates a little bit just because my Pilates studio, there's only a couple of actual parking spaces and the rest of it is street parking. And so I don't like street parking in the winter because it is snowing and just harder to get into the spaces and it's icy and stuff. And so I am terrified that one day I'm going to be street parking in the winter and then I'm going to get on ice and then slide back or forward and hit someone's car. Like, I'm terrified of doing that. So if I can avoid street parking in the winter, I do. So I wasn't going to Pilates in the winter because odds are I was going to have to street park. So I'm starting to get into Pilates now that spring is here and winter's kind of going away because I feel more comfortable parking on the street and it's just something new and exciting. I know that a lot of us, when we're dealing with the winter blues, we don't really feel like ourselves and we feel like we don't look like ourselves. And that is not to put any negativity on gaining weight. Your body is going to fluctuate and change as it's meant to, as it needs to, and there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes there's a way that we like our body to feel and like our body to look, and there's also nothing wrong with that. If you like your body to look a certain way, there's nothing wrong with wanting your body to look a certain way as long as you're doing it in a healthy and mindful and conscious state of mind without being so negative on yourself or saying you are not good if you look like this or you are bad if you look like this, whatever it may be. Removing that negative self-talk and replacing it primarily with positive self-talk is the way to go about it. That's how it's more sustainable anyway. And so I'm getting into Pilates because one, it gets me excited to work out again. I was working out at Spin all throughout winter, but now I'm like, oh, this is something new, something exciting, something challenging. I, for one, don't really want to be challenged in the winter. Winter is already hard enough, but I'm ready to be a little bit more challenged in the spring and in the summer. So I started Pilates. So that's my first little tip and trick, is to find a workout that you aren't super familiar with, but you think that you would enjoy doing, something that gets you out of the house a little bit, maybe a couple of times a week. ClassPass is a great resource to use here because sometimes you don't want to get a membership at a specific studio, especially if you're not sure if you want to commit to it or go to it as often. ClassPass is great because you can try a bunch of different studios and see what you like. I think that signing up for ClassPass is a great way to get more involved in your community. It's a great way to meet new people. You can try different studios, and it is more cost effective than signing up for a membership at a studio that you're not even sure if you're going to enjoy or go back to. So ClassPass, obviously not sponsored, but I just use it personally and I do enjoy it. So you can try Pilates, you can try yoga, you can try boxing, like things that you wouldn't normally get a subscription for or a membership for that you think that you might enjoy a couple of times, or something that you want to try that you might get a membership for down the line, but you're not super ready to commit yet. Just something that gets you out of the house, something that gets you moving, something that gets you excited. And my second tip that I just recently did, and I think it is so important to do, as the season ends, get rid of the clothes that you didn't wear all season long. It is really hard to do a full-on closet clean out when the seasons haven't passed yet, and you can convince yourself, well, okay, well, maybe I'll wear that when it's winter, or maybe I'll wear that when it's fall, whatever. Maybe I'll wear it in the summer. And so you hold on to it and hold on to it. It is a lot easier after that season ends to go into your closet and take inventory and say, okay, this whole winter passed and I didn't touch this sweater one time. I didn't touch this coat one time. I tried these jeans and they didn't make me feel good. Get rid of those things as the season ends, because what you don't need is to be collecting all of these things that don't fit or don't feel good or don't look good or whatever it may be, where you can be donating those, hosting a clothing swap with your friends. I love a clothing swap with your friends. I went on vacation a couple of months ago and my friends and I did a clothing swap before I left. And so I got like a good 40% of my vacation clothes at that clothing swap. I saved a bunch of money and all of those clothes got a second wind, which was great because we are trying to eliminate our waste these days and not just shop for fast fashion for random events. Your friends have something that you can borrow or something you can swap with. That's always a great thing to do. So I would collect all of your clothes that you didn't wear last season, all the things that you don't think you're going to pick up, and get rid of them. Either donate them, give them to your friends, whatever it may be, get them out of your closet. Because onto our next step, what we're doing is creating an actual inventory of what we have and then creating a list of the things that we want, our wardrobe gaps, if you will. So say that every time you're getting dressed, or sometimes when you're getting dressed, not necessarily every time, but you want to reach for this one pair of black shoes, these specific shoes that you don't have, and you find that they would look cute with a lot of your outfits. Put that on your wardrobe gap list, something that you know that you've already reached for, something that you've already wanted to add to your list to get, because then you know you actually have a use for it rather than just doing impulse shopping and you don't really know if you're going to need it. You don't even know if you're going to like it, but you're like, okay, maybe. If you're shopping and most of the things that you're picking up is a maybe in your closet, or I think that I'll wear this, you don't really need it. creating that wardrobe gap list helps you say, okay, these are the things that I want, and these are the things that I think would complete my wardrobe. So I'm going to be intentional about shopping for these things. For example, there's this pair of Adidas shoes that I find myself reaching for, and I don't have them. And so those are my wardrobe gap list. And I'm going to find the ones that I actually want, be intentional about the colorway that I want, the fit that I want, the look that I want, and then get those rather than just seeing, oh, blah, blah, blah has a sale. Let me pick up a couple of pairs of shoes and see if I can fit them into my wardrobe, because I've done that and I've wasted so much money. Quick story, I was kind of seeing this guy, slightly dating him, I guess, years and years ago, like maybe 3, almost 4 years ago at this point, like a long time ago, but he was really, really into shoes. And so I was trying to impress him, and I was like, oh, I just ordered these like new Nike shoes, and they come in and I'm really excited. And I just went on the Nike website and I found some shoes that I thought would look good with my wardrobe, and I got them, and I think I wore each pair of them once or twice and then truly never wore them again. And they were kind of expensive. I mean, a little over $100, so not crazy, but definitely not cheap. And then I wasted $200 plus, tax, shipping, whatever on these shoes to impress a man that didn't even fit my wardrobe. And 2 lessons in that story. 1, never change anything about yourself to impress a man, because these men will come and go, but the things in your wardrobe are going to last longer than these men will a lot of the time. Okay. And number 2, stop buying things just because you think that you might want them one day. If you don't want them now, and if they don't have a place in your wardrobe now, you just don't need it. You can save money that way. So that's what I did, and I do regret doing that, but then that led me to be a little bit more intentional, because there's nothing worse than like going through your closet and seeing all of these things with tags on them that you don't even like, things that you don't want to wear, things that you're not interested in, things that don't fit right. Usually it's things that don't fit right when you get them from these fast fashion websites, right? And you're like, oh, that looks good on the model, but you're forgetting that on the website, the model is wearing that shirt, but in the back, if you turn her around, her shirt is clipped, her jeans are clipped, whatever it may be, like the skirt has been altered so that it's a little bit shorter than it actually is, whatever. Like there is usually some alterations on that model wearing the outfit that we're just not seeing, and we think it's going to fit just like that, and it's not going to fit just like that. And because like I said earlier, making returns is the bane of our existence. We just hold things and then our closet is full of it, and so we're going through and getting rid of things, and then we feel this sense of like shame because we see hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of clothes that we never even touched or wore once that now need to be donated, because most of us aren't selling these things, right, on Poshmark or whatever it may be. Most of us are just donating these things or giving it away. So we've wasted so much money just trying to keep up with the Joneses, and we don't even like what's in our closet. So that is tip number 2. This is my favorite tip: updating your self-care to make things work for you. Here's what I mean. So toothpaste, you use toothpaste every day, fingers crossed, twice a day. Upgrade it to a nicer toothpaste, one that has benefits that you're looking for. If you're looking for a whitening toothpaste, get that whitening toothpaste. If you're looking for one that helps with plaque, get that one. If you're looking for one that helps with cavities, get that one. And sometimes these specialty toothpastes are a little bit more expensive, but they are so worth it. I pride myself on having really nice teeth and really white teeth, and so that is kind of an investment. Like I do have to pay for that, making sure that I'm staying on top of my cleanings, which obviously my insurance covers, but like making sure that I'm using whitening strips when I need them, making sure that I'm using a good toothpaste, making sure that I'm flossing, making sure that I'm using a nice toothbrush, upgrading these things so that they're working for you without you having to put any extra effort into it. So I use, pretty sure it's the Colgate Professional. It comes in a red tube, and I think it's like $6 or $7 for one. I get it on Amazon, and I get it in packs of 2, so it comes out to like $12 or $13, something like that. But the tube lasts a good amount of time. It's not like a crazy long time, but it lasts a good amount of time, and I get compliments on my teeth all of the time. I think that they look really good. They look really healthy. They look white. They look fresh. It obviously promotes fresh breath, all of these things. So investing in a nice toothpaste and a nice electric toothbrush is the way to go. Note on your electric toothbrush, okay, it is not enough to just get one and then use the same toothbrush head for years. That's not, you should replace your toothbrush head. And I'm not saying that to shame you. I'm saying that to help you, right? Because every 3 to 6 months, I think, is when you should be replacing your toothbrush head, especially if if you got really sick in that time. So if you got strep, if you got the flu, if you got, COVID, whatever it may be, it is really important to change your toothbrush head after that. You can get them in a pack. What I do is get them in a pack of 2 or 3, and I set them for auto renewal. So I have them come every 6 months, and I know by the time I get the new one, it's time to replace the old one, and then I'm never running out, and it just gives me a reminder of like, okay, I have new ones coming in. That means I need to replace this one. So if I get it in a pack of 2, I use the next one, and then I have 3 left over, whatever it may be. If you can just set a reminder on your Alexa so you're not just collecting all these toothbrush heads, that works too. But setting a reminder on your phone, on your Alexa, anything is really, really helpful, just so that it'll remind you to stay on top of it. Because if you tell me, okay, remember in 3 to 6 months to replace your toothbrush head or order new ones, I'm just like not going to remember that. But if I have an alert on my phone or if I have the package coming in, then perfect. It's easy for me to remember. So just make things easy for you to remember instead of trying to like fill your brain with all of these things. Just use your resources that you have, makes things so much easier. On to the next thing, body wash that has benefits like skincare benefits. I've been using the Dove with, I'm pretty sure it's hyaluronic acid, and it smells so good, so fresh, and then it has skincare benefits, which is great too. So that way I'm not having to use extra body skincare. My body skincare is already in my body wash, and I'm already showering every day, sometimes multiple times a day. So my skin really gets those benefits. Next thing, lotion. Okay, I know it is so easy to just use a lotion that smells good, but upgrading to a lotion that actually has benefits for you is the way to go, especially if you're going to do a lotion and oil combo. That is the way that my skin just feels best. Maybe try it if you want to. I know oil is kind of an extra step. Some of us don't even use lotion every day. I would recommend, but some of us don't use lotion every day. I understand. So adding an oil on top of lotion is already kind of tough if you're not using lotion in the first place. Oil and lotion together gives my skin the glow that it needs, the moisture that it needs, the softness that I desire. So using a lotion that actually has benefits, not just one that's going to like sit on top of your skin and not absorb, not do anything for you, because then you're just wasting money, right? Maybe you're going to smell good for like 5 minutes before that scent goes away, but you're not getting any lasting benefits. I like anything with shea butter in it. I like anything with vitamin E in it. Things like that are things to look out for. The Nivea lotion is good. Vaseline has a lotion. IOYS has a lotion. Whatever you may choose, just make sure that it has benefits that you think would actually benefit your skin. Finding a product that actually has the benefits that you're looking for is the way to go. One that you don't have to do extra steps for, because a lot of us are saying, okay, well, I'm going to do this thing, this 10-step routine. I'm going to do blah, 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 and it's all going to work out, and then it's going to be perfect. But for most of us, we don't actually do those steps. We don't actually lean into those routines because it takes a lot of mental energy, especially my girls who struggle with mental health, and especially my girls who struggle with like ADHD, things like that, like things where it's a little bit harder for us to get the get up and go that some other people seem to have. So just replacing products that you use anyway with things that have added benefits is so helpful. And then before you know it, you have whiter teeth, longer hair, moisturized skin, whatever it may be, and you didn't even have to put any extra effort into it. Maybe you just had to invest a little bit of extra money into it, and that payout is actually well worth it, in my opinion. So those are my tips for shaking off the winter blues and getting us into our silly spring, which we're going to get into right now. Okay, my girls, let's talk about silly spring. Okay, silly spring just feels so fun to me, so fresh to me. This is a spring of not taking things too seriously. This is a spring of doing things that you want to do, getting rid of the things that you don't want to do. This is a spring for stepping into yourself, growing into yourself, and just having a generally really good time. I know that we're a little bit into spring now, but spring lasts until the beginning of June. So we have some time to really dive into this and make this an incredible spring that sets us up for an even better summer. So I coined this term on TikTok and on Reels called 80-20 spring. And 80-20 spring is what I came up with for myself, where I say yes 80% of the time and no 20% of the time. Because if I get into the swing of saying yes to things now, I'm going to feel excited, I'm going to feel ready, I'm going to feel prepared for summer. If I'm saying no a lot now, I can't expect that when summer comes around, I'm just going to be ready for it, prepared for it, excited for it. Of course, if 80-20 is too much for you, you can do 60-40, 70-30, whatever the breakdown for you looks like is perfectly fine. For me, it's an 80-20 spring. So this is saying yes, like I said, 80% of the time, and this can be saying yes to small things, going for a walk at the park, going for dinner with the girls. This could be yes to an all night out. This could be saying yes to a concert. This could be saying yes for a trip. And then on the flip side, the 20% is saying no to the things that don't serve you at the time, saying no to things that you just don't want to do. Because sometimes a bitch needs to be in the house. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I don't have a little bit extra in me to get up, get out, get dressed, put on makeup, put on an outfit, like the whole thing. Like I don't have it in me all the time. So saying yes 80% of the time allows me to be excited for it, prepared for it. Saying no 20% of the time allows me to rest and not feel resentful that I'm spending all of my time outside of the house. And this is just what works for me. Like I said, you can do the breakdown however feels good for you. 80-20 is my preferred split. Whatever split works for you is what works for you. Just as long as the number makes sense to lead you into a summer that you want to have. Okay, 80-20 spring is in. So on the line of 80-20 spring, start planning your summer trips now, okay? Give people time to budget for it, to plan for it, to make hard to get reservations, to get excited about it, but not too much time to where you forget about it, right? So this is a trip that you want to take beginning to middle of summer or end of spring. So give yourself enough time to start thinking about it, bring it up with your friends, say, hey, this is what we want to do. How's everyone feeling? Give people the option to throw in other options that you might want to do, something that sounds good. Find a hotel, find an Airbnb far enough in advance where it's not too expensive, and then you get a good pick and a good list of options. Start doing things like that now. Spring is what's going to set us up. Okay, so if you want to do a trip at the end of spring, the time to start having these conversations is right now. For example, in a couple of weeks, my friends and I are going to Moab. So our turnaround was pretty quick, but we're going to Moab with our larger group of friends. So I have like my 5 close friends, and then we have kind of a larger group of friends. You have a lot of coordinating to do, a lot of planning to do, and this is what giving yourself the time to plan actually does. It gives you time to not overspend or overstress or whatever it may be. And like I said, now is the time to start booking reservations that are kind of harder to get. Hallie, one of my best friends, found this place on TikTok, I think, where you send in a postcard to this place in Maine, and then every week they draw the postcards and they tell you when to come in for your reservation, which is literally so fun. So a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago at this point, we sent in our postcard for our reservation. And so we're keeping our fingers crossed that this summer we get to go to Maine for our reservation and make a whole trip out of it. But that's something you have to plan for. You can't just call them up and make a reservation. You have to like put in the time, get the postcard, send the postcard, whatever it may be. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that took prior planning, and hopefully it's going to work out in the timeline we want it to. Next, and I know a lot of y'all are in your dating era, now is the time to refresh your dating apps, okay? I say refresh your dating apps, new pictures, new prompts, new algorithm. If you can. Hallie was telling me the other day that there's a way to refresh your algorithm on Hinge. I'm not sure if you can do it on Bumble, but on Hinge, if you go to your settings and then you go to delete profile, ask you why, just say other, because it gives you a list of options, say other, and then it'll ask you if you want to refresh your algorithm and say yes. And then you get a whole new batch of people that you want to date, and which is so fun. A lot of you guys say, okay, I go on these dating apps and it's the same men over and over, and I'm getting dating app fatigue because there's nothing new, there's nothing exciting. All of the guys are really boring. I feel like my algorithm isn't working for me, which is totally understandable. So if you can search up how to refresh on Bumble and how to refresh on whatever other dating app you use, do that. I'm sure there's a lot of tips and tricks on TikTok and stuff like that. Definitely on like Instagram, whatever it may be. So I would search that up, but that's how you do it on Hinge. And so it's time to get out there, get those photos updated. What do you look like now? What do you feel like now? What do you want to talk about now? What worked for me when I was doing my dating era? One of the prompts was, I don't believe anyone's actually good at, and then I said mini golf. Because I date men, and I find that men love to prove that they're good at things, especially when you're telling them that they're not. So I said, no one's good at mini golf. And so many men were like, let me take you mini golfing. I'm good at mini golf. I'll show you. Let's play. I was going on so many mini golf dates. It was insane. But it's a way to lead a horse to water. And if they're going to drink, they're going to drink. And if they're not, don't waste your time, right? Or if they don't like mini golf, I'm actually not good at mini golf, but I'm good at this. Or I'm not good at mini golf. Let's do this, whatever it may be. And then it gets you out of the rut of just doing drinks, because I find that a lot of people resort to, I don't really know what to do, but I want to go on a date with this person, so I'm just going to ask them to drinks. And then if you're going on multiple dates a week and you're going on multiple drinks dates a week, you're just drinking so much. And a lot of these drink dates are literally just drink dates, and you're not eating dinner. So you either have to eat eat dinner before, which a lot of us forget to do, and then you get there and you're drinking and you're starving, and then you feel weird if you order food because they're paying for it. And you also, that said, you should not feel weird for ordering food. If they don't want to pay for your food, you can pay for your own food, but if you need to eat, please eat. Or you're getting like too drunk too fast because you're just on these drink states, and drink states aren't really that fun. I think that there's more fun things to do. So if mini golf isn't your thing, say I don't believe anyone's really good at whatever it may be. Another one is like, I'm not really familiar with the prompts these days, but if there's one that's like, I really like doing whatever, so be like, I really like playing tennis, you want to come with? Whatever. So like, give them an end to ask you on a date, because what I've learned from my friends, and even when I was dating, is that a lot of these men, or just people on dating apps, whatever, I'm speaking in heteronormative terms because that's my experience, a lot of my friends' experience, but a lot of these people on dating apps don't really know how to like initiate a date. And so it's a lot of just pen paling. We don't really want pen pals this summer. We want dates. We want boyfriends. If you have an intention for being on the dating app, go after that intention. If you're just looking to hook up, cater your dating apps towards that. If you're looking for a long-term relationship, cater your dating apps toward that. Make your dating apps read in a way that you intend them to. If you want a certain thing out of a date or a dating app, say that on your profile. You don't necessarily need to be too direct. Like if you just want to hook up, you don't have to put on your dating apps, like I'm just trying to hook up, but answer the prompts accordingly, right? So refreshing the dating apps is in. It sets you up to have so much fun and so much success. And me and all of my friends say, never say no to a first date. The first date will either be a second date or a story. And both of those outcomes are a lot of fun. If you want stories, you're going to have stories for days. If you want second dates, I guarantee you're going to go on a good amount of second dates. So never say no to a first date, because you literally never know what it could lead to. That could be the love of your life. That could be a great hookup, or that could be someone to have fun with for a couple of months, or that could just be a boyfriend, and that boyfriend doesn't have to end in marriage. Sometimes a boyfriend is literally just a boyfriend, and it could be a boyfriend for a summer, it could be a boyfriend for a year, whatever it may be. Just say yes to a first date, because you never know what's going to come out of it. And my last tip is to create a budget that you can actually stick to, right? A budget that makes sense for you, because I know a lot of us, when we sit down to budget, we are really, really tight on our budget, and we don't allow a lot of leeway because we're living in this like dream world where we don't really want to spend a lot of money and don't really want to do anything. And we have the willpower to be really strict, and a lot of us don't actually live in that world. So creating a budget that is setting you towards your goals but not too tight on the purse strings is the way to go, because instead of leading yourself to disappointment that you overspent, just allow yourself to be honest the first time you create the budget. There are obviously some months that you're going to overspend, and there are some months that you're going to underspend, and hopefully it should even out. But if every month you find that you're going over the budget that you set for yourself, maybe it's because that budget isn't actually realistic for you. Prime example, if in the spring you love to go out and get margs on a patio with your friends, that's what I love to do. I allocate less money to grocery shopping and more money to eating out, because I know that's more realistic for me. And if I have this budget of grocery shopping, and then I go and I meet the budget every single week, and then I'm wasting food every single week because I'm not eating at home a lot, that's just a waste of money. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of resources. So if I can cut down, say $100 on grocery shopping and add $100 to eating out, that's more realistic for me. Or if you want to try to not eat out as much, bring down your eating out budget a little bit. Allow yourself to still have those times where you want to go out, you want to have a good time, whatever it may be, without being too strict, but also understanding that you're creating this budget for a reason. And it's really helpful when you're budgeting to tell yourself or remind yourself that you have a goal in mind. I'm saving for this. I have the intentions of this. Say, I want to put X amount in my investments account. I want to put X amount in my high yield saving. I want to put X amount in my checking. I want to pay off this much in my credit card debt. If you have credit card debt, whatever it may be, like make sure that when you're saving, you have a goal, because it is really actually hard to save when you don't want to use that money for anything. And it's really hard to save and just see it sitting in a bank account and tell yourself no when you're like, well, I actually do have the money. I'm just not using it for anything. I'm using it for this far off day, and I don't even really know what I want to use that money for. I say it is really, really important to have 3 to 6 months of emergency money that you don't touch. Say if you get laid off from your job, you have to move, something comes up, 3 to 6 months of emergency money that you don't touch. Anything beyond that, decide how much you want to invest, how much you want to put towards certain things, and then use that money, because you've earned that money and your life should be enjoyed. If you are trying to save every single cent and you're not enjoying yourself, how sustainable is that going to be? How much fun is that going to be? And silly spring and the best time of our lives sometimes are going to require us to spend a little bit of money. And a lot of things are free. Don't discount the free things you have available to you. If you live in an outside city, like Denver, I say is an outside city because the minute it's above 50 degrees, everyone is outside. Go to the parks. Parks are a free resource, a great place to be. Pack a little lunch with stuff you already have at home, or go to the store, spend $10 on little snacks, a sandwich, whatever it may be. Go to the park with your friends. You can be there for hours having the time of your life. There's often free concerts. There's often free art shows. There's often free things to do. You just have to look for them. I know that the website Eventbrite often has free things to do around your city if you want to try there. And if you just type in free things to do in Denver this weekend, there's bound to be a list of things that pops up. So while sometimes the spring and the summer does ask us to spend a little bit more money, there's also a ton of free things to do, especially now that we can actually be outside because there's not snow all over the ground. And I want to remind you that when you're making these decisions for spring, you don't have to decide who you're going to be for the rest of your life. You can simply decide who you want to be this spring. You can decide what you want to wear. You can decide who you want to talk to. You can decide the kind of person you want to date. You can decide all of that for this spring. And then you can change your mind whenever you want to change your mind. I think that sometimes we get so nervous to change little things about ourselves because we think, okay, if I change this, then this is the person I'm going to have to be for the rest of forever. And that is simply not true. If you want to be this version of yourself for the next couple of months, that version of yourself for the next couple of months, there's nothing more fun than getting to customize your life by just making decisions. That's something I saw on Twitter and it made me laugh. You can customize your life by making different decisions in different areas of your life. And you actually can. You can customize your life however you want. It's like you are actually your own sim character, which is the fun of it all. You can do literally whatever you want. So don't spend time this spring doing the things that you don't want to do when you can actually just do the things that you do want to do. Okay, we are only taking the things that are actually aligned with us, that actually feel good to us. So you can do that when it comes to jobs. You can do that when it comes to friendships, relationships, whatever it may be. Start planting seeds for the next thing if you find that you really do want something different, because there's never a shortage of goodness. I think I tell you guys this every single week on the podcast. There is never a shortage of goodness. So if you're leaving something behind, something better is coming to replace it. And I think there's no better time to lean into that way of thinking than a very silly spring. Okay, my love. So that wraps up our episode. And I hope that you found that this was helpful and informative and just a fun listen. I hope that some of it resonated with you and you can implement it into your life, talk to your friends about it, and have the best spring possible. Okay, I loved hanging out with you guys this week, and I will see you guys next week. I love you so much, and I'm on your side.